penalty. That's what they call this. You know, when somebody get dunked on. But it was on 3 people. Yeah. Yep. It was you know, they were in position. It was just a better catch by I.
Get it! Kyler Murray needs to send Bill O'Brien a nice thank you gift. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being with us. Such a good day of football. Stephen A., RC, Max, I'm Molly. Let's get right to it. Stephen A., D-Hop coming through in the clutch with that Hail Mary catch. What went through your mind when you saw that?
Well, the first thing that went to my mind is that I fully understand why Bill O'Brien is no longer head coach in the National Football League. You had this man in Houston with Deshaun Watson, and you let him go. That's who you choose to let go. Clearly one of the best wide receivers in football, top 3 easy, might be number 1 or 2, and clearly some of the best hands we've ever seen at the wideout spot. And he's friends and obviously used to be at Clemson with Deshaun Watson. And this is the guy you let go. That's what jumped to my mind, Bill O'Brien. Obviously, it was an incredible play by DeAndre Hopkins. We saw him basically box out Micah Hyde. We saw him basically box him out. Tre'Davious White couldn't jump with him. And, of course, Poyer came flying in trying to bat down the ball, but it was all to no avail because D-Hop has hops. It's just that simple. He went up. He got the ball over 3 people. It was an incredible play on his part. It was an incredible play on the part of Kyler Murray, no doubt about that, scrambling out to the pocket to his left and juking the defensive lineman coming at him the way that he did. But in the end, jumping over 3 people. I like the analogy that he used, Ryan and Max, when he talked about basically dunking on somebody because he went over everybody and took the ball and brought it down and brought it in. But to answer the question again for one last time, the first thing that jumped to my mind when I saw how great that play was, the first thing that jumped to my mind is no wonder Bill O'Brien is no longer the head coach in Houston. How do you trade this man and take him away from Deshaun Watson? You deserve to be gone when you make that kind of error.
Stephen A., I am shocked and disappointed at you. You thought of Bill O'Brien. To me, they were down 23-21. There was no time left. Remember this? And then flicks it was 61 yards. And by the way, both ends of the play. He did it
against them and Arizona.
Well, that's coming up, Stephen A. Don't jump the gun. By the way, against Detroit, people forget he just made. I don't even remember if it was Detroit or Arizona. Here's the Arizona play. I think it was against Arizona. He just made the same play, and they called it back. I forgot what happened, and then he did it again. He did it again. And Aaron Rodgers is doing this, sometimes throwing to some good receivers. I mean, look at this. And by the way, Kyler Murray, like Aaron Rodgers, so good escaping the pressure. And then here against the Giants. And the thing about the Kyler Murray play that reminded me of the Aaron Rodgers play is not just escaping in the pocket and seemingly effortlessly, even more effortlessly than Rodgers, the way he flicked it, I felt, throwing that ball down the field to his receiver. But the fact that his receiver made that kind of play on the ball, like DeAndre Hopkins told you, everyone was in position. He's not taking credit away. So often you hear opponents take credit away from the other guy. That makes your play worse. Give the opponents credit. He was like, look, they were in position. There were 3 dudes just making his play more extraordinary, which it was. Of course, the guy is known for his hands, but his positioning, his timing, the whole thing was so great. And this is why I was thinking of Aaron Rodgers, Stephen A. Aaron Rodgers has had some very good receivers. He has never had DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, never had that dude.
Watson had him. Kyler Murray now has him. So these Hail Mary type plays, those 50-50 balls, it's like more like a 60-40 or 70-30 ball at the end of games. NFL, look out, because Kyler Murray can do that. And DeAndre Hopkins has made a living catching that ball.
You know what? I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was Deshaun Watson. And I thought back to one of my favorite movies, and my favorite parts of a movie was Boys in the Hood, when Nia Long's sitting on the sofa and Cuba Gooding Jr. is mad. It's after everything happened to Ricky, and he's just punching the air like this. Because that's what I thought Deshaun Watson was probably doing watching that last 11 seconds of that game. He wasn't thinking about Bill O'Brien. He was at his house punching the air, upset that they traded, that dude away. Now, the second thing I thought about, guys, was you two. I thought about Max Kellerman. I thought about Stephen A. Smith. Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, we were having this discussion. Oh, is it Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf? And then I think we brought up somebody else. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, hey, man, you know, like if we just not going on career achievements, like you kind of got to start talking about Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. And then, you know, Max, well, statistically, analytically, it's a sharper Warren, he all that. And then, you know, Stephen A., that is blasphemous. How you going to throw all them in there? And then I said, oh, you know, y'all got to watch these dudes and look what happens. Because here's what I want you to think about. It wasn't that this was designed to go this way and he just escaped to the left because he was supposed to. No, he gets out to the left. He has a defender to beat. He hits him with a hesitation and he gets outside of the pocket. Then the other thing Kyler Murray has to do is turn his hips, get his hips turned around, kind of like a double play in baseball, and then get that ball thrown down to the end zone to give D-Hop a chance. One, there's maybe 4 quarterbacks that have the escapability, the athleticism to get outside of the pocket to their left that way. Maybe 2 or 3 that can actually get their hips turned and throw the football. And those 2 or 3 people might not be the same people. And what we do know is there is no better contested football catcher in the game than DeAndre Hopkins. Do you know why he was so calm after the game? Why it was so easy for him to say that 3 dudes were in position and he dunked on them? You know why that was so easy? Because that's most of his catches. Most of his catches are contested. Most of the time he is covered. He is the most blanketed, uncoverable receiver that's ever lived. So that's nothing. If it touches his hands, he is going to catch it. So exactly what I told y'all when we were talking about the 2 best that's doing it, they have to be in the conversation because they are different. They left the hospital with more than other people, and y'all got to see that.
Well, I appreciate, listen, man, I usually defer to you when it comes to football stuff, but that is until you engage in hyperbole. The greatest receiver you've ever seen?
No,
I'm not going there. I'm not going that far.
That's not what I said.
I'm not going that far. Hold on, Max. Hold on, Max. Well, I'm just saying, essentially, what did you say? I want to quote you accurately. Tell me exactly what you said again, Ryan. What did I miss?
I said he's the most blanketed, uncoverable receiver. This is why, though. What I'm saying is you can be in position against DeAndre Hopkins. That's not the hard part. The hard part is stopping him from catching it. And so even though 3 dudes were there, if you don't get your hands on the football, he is going to catch it. 65% of his catches are contested balls.
That's insane.
Like, that's the type of player he is.
I'm still not going to sit
so when you give him a
that
chance,
is the dynamic duo
so give me
in the
a
NFL.
name.
They're big time, no doubt. But I'm not going to say they're number 1. No, I'm not going to say that.
But Stephen
I
A.,
still hold my position from last week.
Ryan, so do I. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's not a 50-50 ball guy like DeAndre Hopkins. I agree with that assessment, by the way. Best hands I've ever seen, Chris Carter, Fitzgerald, Hopkins, right? Like, those are the 3 that jump to mind. And maybe in a crowd, maybe I'll take DeAndre. But Mahomes, like Tyreek Hill, ain't going to be contested because he's going to be in a place where no one else will be, and Mahomes is just better than everyone at basically everything. But Stephen A., I agree. I agree with Ryan about contested balls. I just, off the top of my head, what receiver in the history of the game that I've seen would I want in a crowd to go up and catch a contested ball? Probably it's DeAndre Hopkins. In that one aspect of his skills, probably Hopkins. I think that's true.
Listen, D-Hop, they got it in his name, guys. Let me wrap with this.